Okay, in this video, I'm going to discuss St. Anselm's ontological argument on the existence of God. To begin, St. Anselm believes that God's existence is true a priori, and if something is true a priori, it is something that's already given. For example, if you take the statement, all bachelors are unmarried men, you would need to find a declared bachelor and ask if he's unmarried, because it's supposed from the given title that he is, so it's something that would be true prior to going out and experiencing it. So essentially what St. Anselm is going to do is he's going to establish that God's existence is true a priori, and that God's existence can be proven or known through the understanding of the definition of the word God. So of course he's going to need to explain to us what that definition of God is, and he does that by attributing characteristics or traits to God, and he establishes that God is nothing less than individual, apart from the world, does not possess any bounds, omnipotent, all-knowing, omnibenevolent, immaterial, as well as eternal. And through the establishment of those characteristics, he creates an all-inclusive definition, which ends up being something which nothing greater can be conceived. He tests his theory by writing about an individual whom declares there is no God. Okay, although the individual makes that statement, all the features of God are understood features. So something which nothing greater can be conceived is an understood concept to the individual. So when the individual says he doesn't believe in God, the individual is saying that then which nothing greater can be thought of exists to him conceptually as well as in the understanding, since the individual is able to make the deduction that there isn't something which nothing greater can be conceived. Yet he doesn't believe it to exist in reality. St. Anselm says that this is problematic because it leads to a contradiction, since the individual is saying he is thinking of something greater that isn't greater. To elaborate, to think of something greater, as the individual did when he declared something which nothing greater can be conceived does not exist, means that then which nothing greater can be conceived exists only conceptually, which is to affirm that in reality it is present, that there are things which are thought of to be greater. Therefore, something which nothing greater can be conceived exists conceptually, but also outside of the mind. So the individual would not have been able to approve or deny that something which nothing greater can be conceived if they were asked the question. So St. Anselm uses mathematical logic, the reductio ad absurdum, or reduction to the absurd, to show the contradiction. That's exactly his whole argument. It's taken that mathematical form, but to put in a different variable to make it a little more understandable, I'm going to use another example. So take this statement, I exist. We're going to say that that's a true statement. If we establish I exist is a true statement, then I don't exist must be a false statement. Therefore, I can truly prove that I exist in my demonstrating that my non-existence is false. So to say I don't exist would result in a contradiction. So do you see that? Saying I exist is true. Therefore, the negation, I don't exist, must be false, and if it's not false, then it would result in a contradiction. And that's exactly what has resulted when the individual said that which nothing greater can be conceived, God, does not exist. Now, of course, there is some problems with this, as there are in every other philosophical, metaphysical statement, or theory in general, because of just how wide the universe is. Who's to say that there is you can establish that there's always going to be an end in the sequence, or there's going to be a beginning of the sequence, but it doesn't necessarily mean that God is the creator of the universe through these traits. So of course there's a problem. If somebody would like to discuss something further or needs a clarification, I would be more than happy to explain. And yeah, I would just like to say that this proof has nothing to do with my belief, so I would appreciate it if I'm not attacked or anything. Okay, yeah. Well, thanks for watching, and like I said, if something's not clear, just tell me.